Hello everyone, I'm Alana and welcome back to our channel. From the Capitol to the streets, DC's got it all. Today, I'm going to walk you through Washington, DC's best places to visit, where every street tells a story. Starting with the nation's capital offering a plethora of experiences, often referred to as America's front yard. The National Mall is more than just a park. It's America's most visited national park, drawing in over 24 million people annually. It's a 2-mile avenue lined with trees in the heart of DC. President Washington commissioned a French engineer to design a blueprint for the nation's capital in 1791, which gave rise to the concept for the mall. You can see the reflection of the Washington Monument in the long reflecting pool, visit the moving World War II memorial, and explore the various Smithsonian museums that line its edges, all for free. Actually, a good many of DC's most popular sites may be found near the National Mall. It's home to many memorials. There are also monuments. All of them are easily visible in a single day if you go around the National Mall. This is a vast stretch of green, flanked by the Capitol on one end and the Lincoln Memorial on the other. Around the latter week of March to the first week of April is when the peak bloom usually happens. It's one of the greatest locations to view cherry blossoms, if you are lucky enough to visit at that time of year. For local residents, it's a spot for running, picnics, and other outdoor activities. The World War II Memorial is numbered 9 on my list. The monument was opened in 2004. Architect Friedrich St. Florian created the expansive stone plaza. The memorial is situated on the National Mall and is accessible to the public 24 hours a day. The memorial honors the 16 million Americans who served in the armed forces during the war. The architecture is both striking and symbolic, featuring 56 granite pillars arranged in a semicircle around a central fountain that symbolize the states and territories that made up the U.S. during World War II are included in the memorial. Each pillar represents a U.S. state or territory from that era. As you walk among them, 4,048 gold stars on the Freedom Wall are a stark reminder of the more than 400,000 soldiers who gave their lives during the war. And then there's the towering Washington Monument, an iconic obelisk that pierces the DC skyline. It's located close to the White House and the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall. It was built to honor George Washington, the nation's first president and the commander of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. After more than 30 years of building, the monument was finished in 1884. It's made of marble, granite, and bluestone gneiss. This stone pillar is the highest obelisk in the world, standing over 555 feet or 169 meters tall. You can ride an elevator to the observation deck for a panoramic view of the city for unobstructed, picture-perfect views of the Capitol. Try to spot the White House, the Capitol, and other landmarks from this unique vantage point. Surrounding the monument, 50 flags wave in the breeze, each representing a State of the Union, symbolizing unity and pride. So next, we're at the Jefferson Memorial now. As the name suggests, it was built in memory of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and is a tribute to his contributions to American history. It's a bit of a hike to get over here. There aren't many monuments that are super close, but I think it's totally worth it. It's an iconic landmark situated on the Tidal Basin. The memorial is a domed neoclassical structure that was completed in 1943. With marble steps and iconic columns, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial is a smaller version of the Roman Pantheon, and its interior walls contain inscriptions from the Declaration of Independence. Inside the memorial, there is a 19-foot statue of Jefferson, as well as inscriptions of some of his famous quotes. This is actually my favorite memorial in DC. Plan to spend some time along the Tidal Basin. It's a 2-mile-long man-made reservoir that is situated between the Potomac River and the Washington Channel. It's surrounded by a number of famous landmarks and monuments, including the Jefferson Memorial, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, and the Franklin D. Roosevelt Memorial. Apart from its monuments, Washington, D.C. boasts several beautiful neighborhoods that are well worth seeing. For a change of pace, let's wander into Georgetown, one of D.C.'s oldest neighborhoods. It was created as a tobacco port in 1751, long before Washington was even named. It's renowned for its stately federal-style architecture, magnificent mansions, oldest European-style house, and well-known citizens, including has former U.S. Presidents John F. Kennedy and Thomas Jefferson. One of the most important sites to visit in the area is Georgetown University, which is the oldest Catholic and Jesuit university in the United States, and is also the location of the Riggs Memorial Library, one of the few remaining iron-cast libraries in existence. Paddlers love Georgetown Waterfront Park, and strolling, jogging, and bicycling along the C and O Canal towpath is a picturesque experience. Go to Georgetown Park or Pinstripes if you're feeling particularly hungry or shopping-oriented. It is also the location of M Street, one of the most recognizable retail avenues in the country. If you enjoy shopping, M Street is lined with a ton of interesting boutiques. While here, visit the C and O Canal or grab a bite at one of the waterfront restaurants for a scenic view of the Potomac. It's the perfect spot to unwind after a day of sightseeing. I am going to start with the Washington National Cathedral. It's the second biggest church in US and sixth largest in the world. Situated on top of Mount St. Alban. It was built between 1907 and 1990. It took 83 years to complete. The cathedral is neo-Gothic design. Beyond its architectural beauty, the cathedral is a vibrant hub for cultural events, including concerts and educational programs. As you wander through, look up to catch a glimpse of its towering spires and hear the peal of its bells echoing through the air. Tickets cost around $15 for an adult, $10 for a kid, senior, or a student. Next on our list is the iconic Lincoln Memorial, dedicated to the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Situated at the western end of the National Mall, located across from the Washington Monument and the gazing out towards the reflecting pool. This monument is more than just a statue, it's a symbol of unity and justice. Built in 1922, it resembles a Greek Doric temple. The memorial houses a majestic statue of Lincoln sitting solemnly. As you climb the steps and enter the chamber where Abraham Lincoln sits in eternal contemplation, you'll feel the weight of history. It's here that Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his historic "I Have a Dream" speech, linking the site forever to the ideals of justice and equality. Ever wondered why there are 36 columns surrounding the memorial? Each one represents a state in the U.S. at the time of Lincoln's death. Visiting at night, the memorial takes on a whole new aura under the moonlight, with the statue of Lincoln illuminated against the dark sky, creating a serene and almost ethereal atmosphere. Well, a short stroll through the bustling streets of D.C. will bring us to the U.S. Capitol building. Located at the eastern end of the National Mall, the Capitol is where the nation's laws are made, housing both the Senate and the House of Representatives. The construction started in 1793 and has undergone several extensions, modifications, and modernization attempts over the next 200 years. It was influenced by classical Greek and Roman architecture. Among its many amenities is an underground tube that leads to the magnificent Library of Congress. If you plan ahead, you can even witness Congress in session, adding a live, dynamic element to your visit. Touring the Capitol gives you access to historic areas like the Rotunda and National Statuary Hall. Don't miss the fresco painted on the inside of the dome. Look up and see the Apotheosis of Washington, which depicts George Washington ascending into the heavens, an allegorical representation of his importance to the country. With its iconic dome and expansive front lawn, The Capitol is a place of power and politics that offers a unique glimpse into American democracy at work. The Capitol is open to visitors free of cost. Next place is located across the Potomac River, the Arlington National Cemetery, a serene and sacred space spanning 639 acres. Approximately 472 football fields in area, it's the biggest military cemetery in the United States. Established in 1864, constructed on property taken from Confederate General Robert E. Lee Arlington. As the final resting place for over 400,000 service members, veterans, and their families, this is one of the most solemn and breathtakingly tributes to American warriors in the country. Don't miss the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where the meticulously changing of the guard ceremony occurs every hour. The precision of this ritual, along with the eternal flame at President John F. Kennedy's gravesite that has been burning since his funeral in 1963, reminds us of the profound cost of freedom. The hike upward from the cemetery entrance takes 15 to 20 minutes. If you don't want to walk, tickets for the tram may be bought on site. And a no visit to D.C. would be complete without taking a peek at the White House, the nation's most well-known mansion. As the official residence and workplace of the U.S. President, this iconic building is a symbol of the American presidency. Given that it's situated at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, you should anticipate large crowds and heightened security. The White House has been the residence of every president since John Adams in 1800. With the exception of George Washington, every U.S. president has had his official residence and place of business in the White House. Built between 1792 and 1800, the White House was modeled after Leinster House in Ireland. It underwent many reconstructions and renovations over the course of a century. The executive residence, the West and East Wings, and the White House complex now comprise one whole building. The White House has, I believe, more than 35 toilets, a movie theater, a swimming pool, and even a bowling alley. Check out this really renowned location. Visiting the White House requires a bit of planning. If you are an American citizen and would want to visit the White House, you must submit a tour request through your member of Congress. If you are not an American citizen, you must go through the embassy of your country in Washington. However, you can also snap a selfie and view the White House plainly from the street. Its neoclassical architecture and beautifully landscaped grounds make it a photo must. Washington, D.C. offers an incredible array of sites where history comes to life, where monuments stand not just in stone, but in the spirit of the American people. I have not included museums because they deserve their dedicated video. Yes, there are so many museums in DC. So pack your curiosity and your camera and prepare for a journey through the heart of the United States. What stories will you take home? Share your thoughts and plans in the comments below. Let's get the conversation started. Happy travels, everyone!